How to draw anything easily. One of the important things most beginners tend to struggle with is drawing certain shapes. I used to find this difficult a lot in my early years of drawing. I remember my erasers would shrink much faster than my pencils. It was frustrating. So is there a way, a simple way, basically a method that can help you draw with less effort? Let's find out. Hi everyone, my name is Clinton and I'm here with drawing and painting tutorials for you. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I draw my shapes easily. I will walk you through my method and the 2 ways of using this method for your drawings. It's coming up. So let's start the tutorial, friends. How to draw anything easily? The answer is suggestive geometry. Well, what is this suggestive geometry? If you can recall, in the previous episodes, the first and second episodes in the drawing series, this is the third one, I spoke about how to approach drawing, the 5 basic lines, the tonal values, and I also talked a bit about geometry. I showed you how to draw some random geometrical lines and shapes. Well, I'm going to use that in today's lesson of drawing shapes. Let's have a look. So friends, I'm going to use a A3 printer paper for this lesson. You do not need to use any expensive papers for this. A 70 GSM simple paper and a 10B pencil would be more than enough, okay? And the reference image you can see, I'm going to place some geometrical random shapes over it. Let's see. The neck seems to have 2 parallel lines, and it's better to hold a pencil this way when placing some geometrical lines. Holding this way will give you more flexibility, okay? And then now let's see for the face. Looks like a triangle, so I'm going to place just a rough triangle this way, and I'll make it look a bit more 3D. Okay, this way. And let's see, for the mouth I can add a square shape here. Make sure you draw these lines as lightly as possible, because if you go dark it will be much difficult to erase later on, okay? And for the ears, just these lines, almost looks like a triangle. And for the eye socket, some circles, 2 circles. And now I start with the horns. I'm using little lines here and there. It is good to progress step by step. So using geometrical suggestive shapes like I did, using this way, your drawing becomes much easier. You will not have the need of using eraser every now and then. So try this method if you are finding it difficult to draw. The face below appears to be a bit semicircle, so I'm going to do that even for the mouth. Now for the lips, again it looks like a triangle, so I'm going to place a triangle. So now we have a simple face structure for the giraffe. Now I move on to the neck area. Notice that I have avoided curvy lines for the moment. I'm just going to place just straight lines. Curvy lines I can add a bit later because they are a bit complicated. So it's good to start with these straight lines. This is 70% complete. Okay, and now I can erase off the unnecessary geometrical shapes. At this point I'm going to not lift my hand too much. I need that energy of the line, so it will make things more beautiful. And the lines that I placed earlier, that will serve as a guide in drawing this continuous line. Okay, so there it is, and repeat this for the other side as well. Now I go on to adding some features, like the lumps on its horns and some dark spots on the face and even the neck as well, so it will look more like a giraffe. Okay, now maybe a little more detail for the eyes. These little features that I'm adding, it will give more definition to the drawing. Okay, and I'm almost done with this drawing. Little more details on the face, maybe some shading for the dark spots, and that's it. Okay, now for the second way of drawing using geometry, I'm going to go a bit direct, but for this you need to use your whole arm this way, not just the wrist. Okay, so I start with the head and I'm going to keep the pencil this way. Gives you more force. This is basically like doodling, but the strokes are more bold. That's it. And I have to vary the pressure on the pencil as well, so this will give a bit melody in the lines. Notice to make sure where things are to be placed, I'm using circles, I'm using triangles, basically some random geometrical shapes, which will help place these shapes properly. Okay, so adding a circle this way or a square this way, maybe even a triangle, so this will open up room for different ideas to place proper lines. Now I'm adding some values. This will look like shapes also, and it will give much natural look for your drawing. If you want to know how to properly place these tonal values, if you watch the first episode where I've shown you in detail how to draw the 5 basic lines, how to practice them, how to free your hand, the variation in the pressure of the pencil and things like that. So I've given the link in the description box below, so check that out, the first and second episode. Okay, and I'm almost done with this drawing. Maybe some fine tuning with little lines here and there this way. So friends, these are the two ways of drawing a subject easily. In this case, a giraffe. In the first way, I have tried to avoid the use of curvy lines because they are a bit difficult at first. Instead, I have tried to focus mainly on first placing the geometrical shapes and then drawing straight little lines over it. This is the easiest way, and if you are new to drawing or are struggling with the basic approach, you can try this method out. It works. And as for the curvy lines, which are equally important and bit complicated, you can practice them separately. There are some important exercises for that. I've given it in the first episode. The link is in the description box below, so check that out. And once you get used to the first way of drawing, you can try the second way, which is bold and which includes a lot of curvy lines. You have to vary the pressure on the pencil, and mainly you have to draw using your full arm. One thing these both ways have in common is suggestive geometry. And keeping that in mind, let's move on to the next drawing. Now for the second drawing, I'm going to again use geometrical shapes for this figure, for this animal figure. So what can I use here? Well, for the tail, I can use a straight line, and for the body, it appears to have this kind of a line where the head is over here. I'm going to use a circle for the head, maybe a rectangle for the nose, a triangle for the ears, another one small circle for the eyes. It doesn't have to look the same. The priority here is to establish some guidelines, let's say, to establish some guidelines using geometry. Okay, so there is a tree trunk right in the middle, so I will draw that first, so things can get much easier. It will be easier to figure out the rest of the shapes. Okay, yes. Now this looks like an oval here, so I'm going to place that oval and another oval shape here. Now I can add some rectangular shapes for the legs and hands, for the fingers. If you have seen the figure drawing tutorials that I have uploaded, in almost all videos, you can see that I'm using these rectangles when I'm drawing the fingers. So not only when drawing animal figures, you can use this geometry in drawing almost anything. So this is the beauty of geometry, how one can draw anything if you make use of simple geometry. The tail seems to me that it is the easiest in this drawing, but anyways, the geometry has helped us to simplify things further. So make use of this method, friends. If you're finding it difficult to draw, if you find yourself using eraser too much, this geometry should help you. I forgot to draw the eyes. I will do that now. What remains is to just add some features. just to make it more interesting. I can do that by placing some tonal values. I will start from the tail. We'll start with dark. And as I reach higher, I will go light. Some zigzag lines to suggest the fur. Maybe a dark tone for the ears as well. Maybe some leaves here and there just to make it look like a tree. Okay, now the same method in another way. This is a direct method. I start with again a tail here. Basically I'm drawing a stick figure, geometrical stick figure. Okay, an oval, again an oval for the face. Now I start with the ears. Notice that the random geometrical round and oval shapes that I have done here, it's actually helping me to understand the whole head of the animal figure. And once you understand how it is shaped, it becomes easier to draw. So the initial shapes have been established. I can move further to add some features, maybe to suggest some fur, and why not a bit of tonal values along the way as well, this way. I could go darker for the tree here. So this is not the finished sketch, friends. This is just to show you the importance of geometry, how we can make use of random geometrical lines in our drawings to make things run smoothly. Okay. Well friends, as you can tell from the second drawing, it's the same thing again, suggestive geometry, and I've shown you the two ways of going about it. And I wanted to share a quick tip with you all, a tip that has helped me a lot in my art journey, and that is when we think of how to draw, we must also think how to see meaning when we approach to draw or paint any subject from nature. It could be a landscape, buildings, cars, trees, birds, even human figures. We must look at everything through the lens of geometry. What this does is, everything in our mind turns into basic geometrical shapes. This way we will be able to understand the shape better. So once we understand it, it becomes much easier to draw. Okay, and on that note, let's move on to the final drawing, still life. For this third drawing, I chose the still life as the reference photo, and I'm going to again apply geometry to it. So there is a vase, and now comes the geometry. What I do is maybe a small rectangle, and if the shape is round, you can draw a plus sign. this way, or again a square sign. And then add again geometrical lines to it and make it look more round. So drawing a circle this way is becomes much easier. An oval here, and for the circle I'm going to use this geometrical lines as a guide to draw a circle. And now for the flower, maybe a round circle and another circle within it. And some random petals. So this is the easiest way if you are a total beginner and you're looking for an easiest way to draw. Well, this is it. And make use of geometry in everything you draw. It is always helpful. I still use it to this day. Okay. And once you get experienced with this method, you can try a more direct approach like this. So friends, this was today's lesson on how to draw anything easily, and that is by using suggestive geometry. You can use this method to draw almost anything, although for figures and landscapes there is an extra bit of geometry involved. I will make an in-depth video on those things. And if you have a specific video request or if you have any doubts regarding this video, feel free to ask that in the comment section. I will consider that. Which reminds me, there have been 2 comments in the previous video. One was to make a specific video on tonal values, and the other one was how to draw portraits in different angles in 5 minutes. So basically quick portrait sketches. I'm working on that content, and I will upload the video as soon as possible. And those of you who are new here, new to my channel, check out the playlist section. I've uploaded quite a bit of videos there on different topics, and if you like the content, please consider subscribing. And to all my subscribers who have supported me so far, thank you, and I will be back soon with the new video. Until then, take care.